I am Supreme, and today's Astro Oracle investigation will be on Larry Darnell Stackhouse Jr. Okay, born in Syracuse, New York, and was last seen December 2nd, 2005, around 6 p.m. Now, Larry was supposed to have attended a game that evening with a friend, a basketball game at the Christian Brothers Academy. Okay? We do know that Larry made it to the game because his father, after telling Larry, don't come home too late, his father also had friends that was going to be at that game as well. So, of course, during the investigation of them trying to figure out where their son is, the friends did confirm of his father that we did see your son at the game. So we got to find out what happened after the game. So we went to the friend, okay? And the friend said, when the parents questioned the friend that Larry went to the game with, the friend stated, I dropped him off at a local store. And I'm assuming Larry walked home the rest of the way. Larry Jr. walked home the rest of the way from the convenience store. Now, the friend later changed the story. And the friend is now saying that Larry got into an altercation, a confrontation with some Native Americans. Because up there in Syracuse, New York, there is a nation of Onondaga Nation of Native Americans who own their land. Not even law enforcement has access to their land unless they go through the chief of that nation. It was said by the friend upon changing the story that Larry Jr. got into an altercation with these Native Americans. And later it was also rumored that Larry was killed and his body is on the land, the Onondaga land. But those rumors have not been confirmed. So let me give you a little background on Larry Jr. Larry is a dropout of school. He didn't finish school. He worked at a nursing home to support his child. He had a baby child. Okay? Law enforcement, upon getting permission from the chief to search the land, they did come up with finding some clothing that the parents of Larry Jr. confirmed that that is the clothing that belongs to their son. But the law enforcement told Larry's family and parents that the DNA that came up on the clothing did not match Larry Jr. Stay with me. Larry had 2 warrants. He's never been arrested, but he had two warrants existing before he disappeared. One of them was for loud music, a ticket for loud music that went unpaid, and a moving violation. But other than that, he had never been to jail. The parents went through hell and high water to get their son's story broadcasted. Okay? And they went to, like, I think it was the NBC told them that due to somebody from in connection with NBC told them the truth and was like, due to him being African American, his chances of being broadcasted are not as high as the Caucasians, which is absolutely disgusting. Which is why I do what I do. Which is why people like me exist. Because I am going to get down to the bottom of helping my people get justice. The African American and Native American community with whom I am blood to. Family comes first. That is my family. I love everybody and I'm here to serve everybody. But I am a family man, family first. So I use my spiritual arts and crafts to be of service to my community and serving my family first. I've had some time to spend with Larry Darnell Stackhouse's energy. Okay. I pre-shuffled all of my decks. That is a ritual that I do in the presence of the energy of Larry Darnell Stackhouse Jr. when I'm conjuring up his energy. Go down this timeline and I'm going to do a couple of more shuffles and we're going to pull cards. So I'm tuned in to Larry and I don't need anybody's permission to do what I do. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the bell button so you will be notified when I drop investigations. Also, feel free to comment on any investigations that you would like to see me do. These are for entertainment purposes only unless proven otherwise. Of course, you know I say that because of this YouTube platform. All right. Let's get down to pulling a chart. I have Larry's date of birth, and I'm eventually going to pull his birth chart, see where the planets were the day he was born. And I also have the planetary alignment of the last day that Larry was seen to tap into the planets to find out what's going on. All right, Larry Darnell Stackhouse Jr. Where are you and what happened? I feel his energy. Aquarius in the 11th house. This is the tribe. Aquarius is in its own house. The 11th house is Aquarius's house. And this is the house of tribes. This is the house of tribes, nations, groups, organizations, sororities, fraternities, gangs. So, right off the rip, we know that this was gang related. Whether it was the Onondaga Nation, it was more than one person involved in this disappearance of Larry Stackhouse Jr. Also in the link below, please utilize my tutorial. I made a tutorial video that will educate you on the signs, the numbers of the houses, and the planets. You can click on any sign that you see, any number house that you see me talk about or point out on any of my cards that are pulled, or any of the planets that you hear me talk about in the charts. So that way you will understand how I formulate my story. So when Aquarius is in the 11th house, this is letting me know that this was group conscious oriented. This was group conscious. I have the planetary alignment. I got to bring that up. So I'm going to apply this alignment to this chart. In this chart, when Aquarius is in the 11th house, Aries comes first. Okay? So, looking at Mars, because Mars is the planet that rules Aries. So I'm going to be looking for where Mars is in this chart and where Uranus is in this chart, because Uranus is the planet that rules Aquarius and the 11th house. And Mars rules Aries. And Mars rules the first house, and Aries is in the first house, and that's actually Aries' house. All of the signs are in its own house in this chart. So, Mars on December 2nd, 2005, was in Taurus. That lets me know that there is money involved in Larry Darnell Stackhouse's disappearance. And I forgot to mention, and you can go research it for yourself, that there was a rumor, it hasn't been confirmed, but there was a rumor that he stole $700 of marijuana from this group of Native Americans. Okay? And keep in mind, this is the group conscious card. So we do know that this disappearance was group conscious. Okay? The energy of this disappearance has to do with a group, a nation, a tribe. Okay? Tribes have their own beliefs. So, of course, I'm going to look at Sagittarius because that represents cultures, belief systems. Okay? Foreigners, foreign beliefs, foreign cultures, foreign lands. Okay? So, on December 2nd, 2005, the sun and the moon was in Sagittarius in the 9th house. It was a new moon that day. So the cycle was high. Larry Darnell Stackhouse Jr. had a run-in with this tribe, this Native American group-oriented tribe, this other culture, and it had to do with money. Larry's moon at birth was in Sagittarius as well, and Larry was a Virgo. Now, we're going to get straight to it. We're going to find out where Larry's body is, dead or alive. This is my lost and found deck. The card that I pull from this deck is going to give me a clue on where his body is, dead or alive. Whether it's alive or dead, we're going to locate the body. So while I'm shuffling this, let's look at where Uranus is at. Because we do know that Mars let me know that this is money oriented. This is money motivated. And this just may be about the money. This just may be confirming the rumor of this $700 rumor that he stole marijuana. And he had a run-in with these people. Because it was definitely about money. Uranus, December 2nd, 2005, which is the last day that Larry was seen, is in Pisces. All right? Pisces is the energy of smoke and mirrors. In the negative, it is the energy that governs drugs and alcohol. And Pisces was at home in the 12th house, in its own house. And so was Uranus. This was about drugs. This was about drugs. And on that night, Larry was making a transaction. Because his sun, his Mercury, his Venus, and his Mars is all in Virgo. And it's in the 6th house of work. He was putting in that work. He was putting in that work. He was making some transactions. And he got that work put in on him. I'm not here to sugarcoat the lifestyle a person lives. And he's dead. This is the death card. This is the death card. This is the death card. The 8th house. Location. Scorpio. Mercury on December 2nd, 2005 is in Scorpio. Because I'm looking at what planets are in Scorpio. Mercury is in Scorpio. That's letting me know that his body is in the local environment somewhere. It's probably buried, hidden, but it's in the local environment. And I'm going to pull from my evidence card. Hold up. First, I'm going to pull from my Who deck. Who? Who's responsible? We're going to find some suspects, some accessories, some accomplices. We're going to connect the dots. But we do know that Larry, unfortunately, is no longer with us. Now, Mercury, which is going to let me know, I had to look at whatever planet is in Scorpio. Larry only has Pluto in Scorpio, and Pluto rules Scorpio. Okay? Now, I'm going to also pull the birth chart and the chart of when he was missing, and I'm going to apply these cards to his birth chart, and that's going to connect the dots. Oh, because it's going to let me know where his body's located at in the local environment. Because we do know that it's in his local environment. It's not far from where he lives in Syracuse, New York. And it just might be on that land, that Onondaga land. Accomplice in the local environment. This is the family card, though. This is somebody he grew up with, an accomplice. This is also the family card. I'm calling it as it's coming out. The accomplice is either in his family, a family member, or this is somebody he grew up with that's close to him like family, that has a history. The number 4 is the house of history, family, ancestry. People you have a history with, even your bloodline. And Cancer is there. The energy of Cancer. And where was the moon? Because the moon rules Cancer. And the moon was in Sagittarius. Which is this other culture's belief. Okay? Both the moon that day, December 2nd, 2005, and Larry's moon are both in Sagittarius. Both moons met that day. I'm going to pull a crime, and then I'm going to go back to Who and see if we can locate a suspect. Because you do know the accomplice is somebody he grew up with. And I believe it's that friend. This is also the friend. You can go look it up for yourself. Make sure y'all are utilizing my tutorial in the link below. So you don't think I'm just making stuff up as I go. I'm not making it up. Everything I tell you is in the tutorial when you go click on this sign and you go click on this house number. And you will see how I formulate the story. That is also the friend. Let me pick up that accomplice card in the 4th. Yep, that is also the friend. All right, let's pull a crime. Because, of course, there was a crime involved. Psychological abuse in the 7th house. This is psychological abuse coming from the spouse, the partner, who Larry was in a relationship with or a partnership with. Now, where was Venus? Because Libra is in the 7th house and Venus rules Libra. Venus in Larry's chart is in Virgo. This could have been his work partner, somebody he was doing these transactions with. Okay, this could have been a business partnership. Psychological abuse. Somebody might have been playing mind games because Uranus, which rules Aquarius, is in the house of psychological issues, the 12th house. That's Pisces' house. That is the hidden. That is smoke and mirrors and deception. That is the house of psychological warfare, spiritual warfare, the psyche. That is the house of the psyche. Go look up the 12th house. So, psychological abuse from this friend, this business partnership, and this tribe. Those are the three energies involved. The friend, the business partner, or it very well could be Larry's significant other, and the tribe that's responsible for Larry's death. Energy doesn't lie. And all of my decks that I created, they serve me. And they serve me well. Thank y'all for supporting my channel and all of the videos that y'all are watching. And shout out to the people who email me for readings. We all about answers. They don't want to help us, but that's all right. That is all right. We got this. Look at that, the 9th house. That's Sagittarius' house. The conspirator, of course. Of course, this is my Who deck. Of course, that was going to come out. This is a 9th house activity. This is an entire 9th house crime. The sun, the moon was here. The sun and the moon was here the day Larry went missing. The sun and the moon was in this house. The conspirator. We're going to pull some evidence. It's my evidence deck. And then I'm going to go back to the Who deck to see if we can locate a suspect. It's probably more than one suspect. That's why it's why the suspect card is not coming out. It's the suspects, plural. It's not a suspect, suspects. They're all in on it. And they're not giving answers, but they don't have to. Like I said, we got this. Yeah. They was playing games, running psychological games on him. The drug game. Look at that. Another 9th house. Trace evidence. Fibers, soil, glass, vegetation, other trace materials. This is still a new deck. So I got to look at my template that I have hanging up in front of me about the trace evidence. But the energy don't lie. Either way it go, the energy does not lie. Trace evidence. Yep. His body is in the dirt somewhere. It's on that property. I believe it's on that Onondaga Nation property. This is too aligned. Energy doesn't lie. This is too aligned. Let me pull his birth chart. So on September 2nd, 1987, the sun was in Virgo, because this is his birth date. The sun was in Virgo and the moon was in Sagittarius. Okay? Larry's moon was also in both of these houses, where this trace evidence and this conspirator will be found. Okay? So, y'all know how I formulate time. I divide time by the cycles of the moon, the seasons of the sun by the cycles of the moon. So the moon was in Sagittarius when Larry was born, but it was in Sagittarius during Virgo season. Virgo was the 6th house. So I put Sagittarius in the 6th house. And that gives me a Cancer rising. Cancer rules the 4th house, which is where this accomplice is. This friend that he grew up with, okay? Because now Cancer is this accomplice has now went to the 1st house. This is who he was with. This accomplice is who Larry was last seen with. And you want to know how I know that? This is the partner that he was with. Because if you look in the 4th house of Larry's chart, you will see Libra. That's the partner. Yeah. And Virgo, which is where all of this work was being put in at, which is where Larry's sun, Mercury, Venus, and Mars is all in the 3rd house. Look at that. In the local environment. And he and his friend told his family, last I seen him, I dropped him off at the local store. He dropped him off at the local trap, where he puts in his work. But this friend is involved. Larry got himself into some shit. And his friend know it. Why? Because his friend is an accomplice. This person he grew up with. Because even in the documentary that I was watching, his friend was somebody he was friends with since elementary school. That's this accomplice in the 4th house. They need to question that friend again. They need to hold that friend accountable because that friend knows answers. That friend knows the people who killed Larry Darnell Stackhouse Jr. I don't care what anybody say. Yep, the 3rd house where all that work was being put in at. That's Mercury's house. That's the house of Mercury. That's the house of Gemini. That's Gemini's house. So what kind of work was being put in? Look where Gemini's at. It's in the house of psychological abuse, the 12th house. And that's also the house in the negative of drugs and alcohol. He said the selling of drugs and alcohol. Putting in that work. Psychological abuse. It was a setup. Larry Darnell Stackhouse Jr. was set up. Now, before I pull another who, because I may not have to pull another who, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull a chart for the day, December 2nd, 2005, the day he was missing. Remember I told you that was a new moon day. The sun and the moon was in Sagittarius. A new moon chart is always Aries first. The same chart of the first card that was pulled. That lets me know that tribe, that Onondaga Nation is responsible. Yep. All of the dots connect to that Onondaga tribe. And his body is on that land. And the officers are not saying anything because they didn't even give credit to the private investigator that the family hired to go on the land and the ones who found the clothing. They're trying to say it didn't belong to Larry Darnell Stackhouse. Yes, it did. Yes, the fuck it did. Let's pull another who. Y'all, I get angry, but we all share this anger. Like I said, they don't want to help us, but that's all right. That's all right. Because see, we out here helping ourselves. Don't forget to please like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell button. So that way you'll be notified when I drop these investigations. All right. That partner. Physical evidence with that friend. Physical evidence with that friend. The physical evidence is with that friend, with that partner. Yep. That's the physical evidence. Yep. Hmm. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Y'all be blessed.